The second week of July has been designated as Cultural Communities Week by virtue of Proclamation number 250 of 1988. This week raises awareness about the indigenous tribes and honors their contribution and relevance to national unity and progress. It also emphasizes the need of preserving their rich cultural legacy, not just for the Philippines but for the rest of the world too. Learning the importance of indigenous peoples is a key point in achieving national unity and development. This also helps to promote and conserve their rich native cultural legacy both locally and globally. Here in Germany, one Filipino-American professor, director transformational dancer, choreographer, and theater professional has fully embraced his unique indigenous background and combined it with his intellectual prowess and years of experience as a movement and contemplative practitioner to bring a new voice into both the German academia and performing arts scene. Professor Dr. Leonard Cruz recognizes and honors his indigenous Filipino heritage to build cultural indigenous communities awareness and shape a more inclusive future. Let us get to know Professor Dr. Leonard Cruz, Professor for Urban Education with a focus on the performing and creative arts, and the first ever Filipino Chair of Theater and Dance in Society Department of the University of Applied Sciences and Arts, Hochschule für Künste im Sozialen, Ottersberg, Germany.
Good afternoon, Mabuhay. I'm Professor Dr. Leonard Cruz. I was born in Pampanga, the Philippines, raised in the United States, and have lived over 30 years in Germany. I am the first professor, doctor, to direct the Theater and Dance Department at the University of Applied Arts and Sciences in Ottersberg, Germany. My parents are both Filipino. My father is more Indigenous and Spanish, and my mother is more Chinese and Spanish. And I was raised in the United States, but having learned the Filipino folk dances from the south through the north, and the barrio Spanish and the Chinese influences. My first contract that I received in Germany was around 1993, and it was with an important German choreographer, a dance icon. Her name was Pina Bausch. She gave me my first contract to work as a guest in her company in Wuppertal, and then I was invited 5 years later to be a soloist with Susanna Linke in the Bremen Stadttheater. And during this time, I started my own dance company, like in 2001, 2000, and was freelancing as a choreographer. And then I decided to obtain my PhD and received a full scholarship. And so in 2013, I received and obtained my PhD in urban education with a focus on the performing and creative arts. My advocacies here in Germany are to support international artists of color and to find resources and networks and how we can live a sustainable life in Europe, in Germany in particular. That's one advocacy. Another advocacy of mine is to be more environmental friendly and understanding your indigenous heritage. So I know as a Filipino, it's important to embrace all the natural elements from water, earth, air, space, and the other water, earth, air, space, and fire. All of this is very important today when we talk about the climate crisis. So environmental causes are very important to me. And then as well as to embrace our Filipino identity and culture. I know that sometimes it can be very difficult to do so, but I say to you, as someone who at once really did not want to do anything with my Filipino identity and culture, I've learned to embrace all that we are and how we look, no matter if dark complected, light complected, and to know that the beauty of being colonized, as well as being the colonizer, as well as being the oppressed, that how do we embrace all of the beauty of that, what that means, right? And so that's important for me as well, is embracing your Filipino identity. So we talk about Pinoy pride, right? When we see it in digital media, it's because we see so much Filipinos that are thriving as artists, right? And so I stand here as a professor director in a theater dance department because dance is the arts are a part of who we are as Filipinos. We know that we excel because that's who we are. We're taught to authentically share our emotions on stage, right? And so this is one thing that I believe in, is that how do we share our authentic emotions through all of the arts? And not only in dance and theater, but we have great singers, we have great poets, we have great actors, right? We have great visual artists. So how do we use our talents as Filipinos to excel, right? And to really delve deep into your authentic self and who you are, and expressing all who you are. And that's our embracing our Filipino identity. So Pinoy pride. So for me, my current research as a performer and as a scholar is understanding the complexities of our Filipino heritage. I know that I have Spanish blood, I know I have Indigenous blood, I know I have Chinese blood, and all of that makes us the beautiful people that we are. And even though I know I talk about the positive aspects of it, there are also negative aspects to being colonized and being the colonizer. And I think it's important to understand then the complexities is the beauty. And for me, the arts are the positive aspects of the Filipino people. And so for me, I am inspired by my Indigenous ancestral background, by understanding animism as part of a way of thinking, living, and being. And so my work believes that I can transform and shapeshift into different deities, different animals, different insects, different natural elements, which existed for many, many years in Filipino mythology. And so for me, that's my current research right now. As an activist and as a professor, it's very important to empower all Filipinos. And for me, living here in Germany and being the first professor director at a university, I want to inspire Filipino Germans to be able to accomplish all that they can be. And I know sometimes it's difficult when we think about our Filipino identity, but I want every Filipino German to understand that there's perseverance that exists within our ancestors. And what I mean is, we know that calamities happens throughout the Philippines, and that we've been able to survive and thrive and empower ourselves. And so when we've migrated to a different country like Germany, it's important to embrace this perseverance, right? And to this Filipino strength and power that allows us to thrive. And that's the beauty of who we are. And to know that if we're struggling, how do we embrace our Filipino-ness to allow us to accomplish what we need to accomplish? And I think that's the beauty of who we are as Filipinos. The beauty of the Philippines is, for me, always something to learn more and I believe to be able to shape shift.